Hello, hello. Hey there, YouTube slasher chicks and slasher dudes. My name's Alicia, and this is Slasher Chick TV, where we like to talk about growth mindset and negotiation strategies. So you never have to choose between this or that. You can always say yes to this slash that. And today, hey Rudy, today is my 84th out of the tickers above now consecutive day of live streaming, and because I set out to do a 90-day live stream challenge, and I learned a lot along the way, and I really have surprised myself that I've made it this far. But tonight, as a win-win, if you watched any of my, well, not any of my previous videos, but I have a previous video about a 4D plan to prepare for the summer, to make this summer your best summer yet. And it was kind of like a reset. And I'm very much in the theme of a mid-year reset at this point. And so I've been doing a digital declutter, getting rid of some other files. And in doing so, I came across a video from November 2023 as I continued to try to figure out how I was going to come back to this channel, what I would be talking about, because it really helps to talk about something on your channel that you enjoy talking about. And so that's kind of what led to this video. So I'm going to start the live by playing this. We'll have a discussion about it, and we'll take it from there. How about that? There are a few things in this world that I love to study. One of them is the laws of the universe, and the other is YouTube. And I do watch a lot of content creators about the law of attraction and the law of assumption. And I realized I was in a space where I don't actually want or need a teacher. I just want to continue the conversation with like other practitioners. But I also didn't want to make a law of attraction or law of assumption channel, because over the course of the last year, any of the work or study that I've done has really led me to the belief that it's all just about self-concept and how you see yourself and how you see yourself in relation to others. And that is really the only thing that matters, because as far as the law of assumption is concerned, it's literally whatever you say it is. Like, the rules are whatever you say they are, what you assume. And circumstances do not matter other than that. It's like, so if the only thing that really matters is how I see myself, then yeah, self-concept is the only thing. So although I didn't want to make a law of attraction channel, I did want to make a self-concept study community, because that's what I want. I just want to continue the conversation with others who enjoy thinking about this and who want to gather on YouTube to talk about it. And one of the ahas I had recently as it relates to self-concept has really been about like thinking about movies that I feel like really are trying to tell that story about that ultimately self-concept is the most important thing. And I don't know how The Wizard of Oz came up for me, but it did. And it was kind of this aha that like, oh snap, the ruby slippers are self-concept, because this whole time, Dorothy was looking for this power outside of her, but like she really had the power all along, based on her assuming and believing that she had that power all along to just like do whatever she wanted, which if that was to go quote unquote home, girl, you could have ended that if you had just accepted that you had the power to do it. But you don't know what you don't know, right? And so it's definitely a story of all of us in that a place of not understanding that we have that power and taking a journey until we realize that we do. And so that's incredibly well, I don't know what my thought is after that. I'm going to stop here and then see how I improve this audio. And then, yeah, take it from there. And so one thing that I also think can really shape your self-concept is affirmations. And one day, especially affirmations that you already feel to be true. For example, I had an interaction with someone that I loved that made me feel so good that, when I got off the phone with them, I said to myself, oh, I'm such a lucky girl. And I do feel so lucky and grateful to have, this person in my life and have them pour into me the way that they do. And so ever since then, I also started using that affirmation, like I'm such a lucky girl. And so just now I got a phone call from a friend and I was working, so I couldn't listen to it right away. And after I finally listened to her message, it was just so warm and it immediately made me feel like, oh, I'm such a lucky girl. And so that one, the other one I used is I had a coworker once say to me, oh, the universe is always taking great care of you. After I had this fiasco of a delivery situation, but I was able to catch the delivery in enough time to not have my new chair be ruined outside, which I love that chair, by the way. And ever since he said that, I'm just like, yeah, the universe is always taking such great care of me. So I firmly believe that literally everything is about self-concept. It's the only thing that matters. There is no process that matters because you are the process. You are the process. So that's it and that's all. And so self-concept is the only thing that matters. That's my hill to die on. And that is, maybe I don't want to use that phrase. Yeah, that's my story though, and I'm sticking to it. And that is going to be the entire concept of this channel. So if you want to study with me, then subscribe, comment below, do all those things. Okay, but this channel is not actually ultimately about the law of attraction or your self-concept directly. Because like I said, that was a recording from November when I was thinking about what do I want to talk about frequently. But indirectly it is, because it's still ultimately all of the things that I like to talk about as far as growth mindset and negotiation strategies and how you can leverage technology to be able to live a life that you love really are still about your self-concept and how you see yourself and how you'd like to see yourself in the world. So I still enjoy watching content creators about that, talk about that are doing it in a more law of attraction-y way. But it's just not something I want to create content around all the time. So I did not do that. Now, May right now, I speak English primarily. I'm trying to learn Spanish, but I am nowhere near fluent yet. But that's what having a growth mindset is about, is naming that I am still working on my language skills in terms of Spanish. And I am still practicing. So English only for now. Come back next year and I would hopefully be able to say that in 2 languages. But we're not there yet. Un poco.
I remember one time when I was in Mexico and I did ask someone like, "What's the difference between if someone asks you, can you speak Spanish?" and you say un poquito versus un poco? And he was like, "The difference is they know whether you can actually speak Spanish or not. Because if you say un poquito, it's a no bueno." So, but yeah, that's one of the things. I was cleaning out, doing my digital declutter. And so I thought, okay, I can share that in the live stream. Now, I had another thing that I wanted to share, because it is a win-win Wednesday. And on Wednesday, when it's a win-win, I like to do a this slash that, and it serves as a double duty for me. So, Coach Sherry, you used to be fluent in Spanish. Yeah, now I definitely think with all second languages, if you don't use it, you lose it. Now, luckily, I have lots of people that I could use Spanish with on a regular basis, and I failed to do so. And lots of people that could actually be language partners with me as someone who's trying to learn. And I don't know about everywhere, but one of the things they have at the free library here in Philadelphia are Spanish language classes and English as a second language class. For they'll be looking for language partners there. So you get to do a language exchange if you're someone trying to learn Spanish by helping someone who primarily speaks Spanish try to learn English. And it's free. So that's another thing, that I could be taking advantage of if I wanted a regular conversation partner. But yeah, when I was cleaning out everything and looking at, all right, well, what are some of the things I could or would share in my live today? I love ChatGPT, and but I also like to keep in some of my bloopers from past videos. And so I did have a couple bloopers from a previous video that I'm like, I might as well put those up too before I delete them. So let me see. I don't actually know, did I really save this folder like I think I did? Let me just say. We're about to find out if I really put the things where I thought I did so that I would be able to show them again today in this stream. Hopefully I have not failed, both you and myself. Aha, I found them. Okay, here's the first blooper. In terms of health and wellness, you can use it to generate workout routines, create a list of I'm consistent in forgetting to put. Oh, that reminds me now. Let me put the do not disturb on. Okay. Well, thank you, Candace. So what did you say, Coach Sherry? When I went to grad school, we had to have a non-English speaking partner that who was in the undergrad program at the same school. Your partner was from Korea. Oh, I love that requirement. What a great exchange for students. In addition to communicating with, yeah, that's why I'm like, that's a really great exchange for students to offer one another. Aw, and welcome to the live, Candace. And well, that's why I have to delete them now, Coach Sherry, because my drive is out of control. Okay. Stuff is everywhere. There's no organization whatsoever right now. So that's why I am doing this digital declutter so that once I finish this 90-day live stream challenge and have really worked out a good schedule and workflow for making videos, that I have some order and organization to this. But I don't, in my first stint at YouTubing, when I started my channel 5 years ago, I would keep all my content on a separate hard drive. As a matter of fact, I kept it on a little mobile passport like this. This one right here, I believe, is like two terabytes. It's like huge. And that was so I could easily travel with it, and so it didn't take up too much storage on my actual computadora. I wouldn't know how to say storage and too much storage in Spanish, but I do know how to say computer in la computadora. Okay, back to my blooper here. Okay, we're gonna keep going. Yep. Okay, that's another thing I'm trying to figure out. I don't know about you if you record YouTube videos. Where did I get this? I think I got this from Best Buy, Candace. Because Best Buy has lots of options for mobile storage. So you can like choose, what size works best for you. Um, and this I've had, yeah, like I said, 5 years and it's still kicking. Now, if you record videos, I'm curious what you do. Do you record like a segment and then you stop and pause so that you can plop that in to edit later? Or do you just record like one long take and try to make sure that you have pauses or gaps in the take so that you know where to edit the video? I am very curious about this. Now, apparently, this particular day, I was just recording one long take and it was like, I'll figure it out later. There we go. I cracked me up too. I cracked myself up. Oh, that was the end of that one. Okay, so that's the end of that one. But I guess I got my stuff together after that and was like, oh, okay, let me do this for real. That's what I need to get to, Coach Sherry. In the category of health and wellness, you could use it to generate workout routines, create a list of self-care activities to practice, a list of healthy snacks that you could take to work, a list of ways to reduce stress, gardening tips, a list of healthy meal prep ideas, create a list of ways to improve just your general mental health and well-being, and see what ChatGPT says. I don't know why now here's one thing. I actually find ChatGPT incredibly helpful for making lists. Like when I can't think of the things, right? When I'm not like maybe it's the end of a long day and I'm just not on my A game anymore. But I because I've used it to like my packing list for Paris. Like I couldn't I'm just like, oh, what are the things I'm not gonna think of? Or I will put the list I already have in ChatGPT and ask, what am I missing? How could you add to this? Duplicate the format and give me 10 more. Stuff like that. Ooh, I love that tip, Coach Cherry. But that's what I would love to get to. I would like to a combination of the two. If it's something where I'm trying to instruct people on how to do something, like how to use some new tech tool or gadget that I'm excited about, then I might record it in part so I can put it together later. But if it's really just something where I'm talking about something that it's a topic I just like to talk about, and I want to really just connect with people about this topic, then I think I would probably just try it that way. Um, but yeah, agreed. We do. Now, was that? I don't know if that was all in that particular blooper. There's got to. I think that was the end of that blooper. So that was those two things, and now that I feel like I've gotten their full use, right? Like um I put them in a video. I reuse the blooper now in a live. I'm not even going to move them over to the external hard drive. I'm just going to delete them. I no longer need those files. And that is exciting to also get rid of a few things. It's nice to clean that out. And because I think mid-year is also, yeah, just a great time. Like, of course, the beginning of the year, people are thinking about those things, but yeah, we're in mid-year reset mode, and it's a great time to take a look back at how things have gone up until this point as you move forward and think about what's next. Now, I also, well, this I'll save for Friday. But one thing that I'm super excited about as I move forward, and I should name this today, tomorrow on day 85 of my 90 consecutive days of live streaming, what I like to call Thrive Thursday, I will have my first guest, and she has a YouTube channel here called Hey Dr. Ray. Now she's new to YouTube, so maybe I'll ask that particular question. But on Thrive Thursday, and as we go into the summer, where many people are thinking about that mid-year reset and how they'll continue to evolve themselves over the rest of the year. We're going to talk about rediscovering your passions and what that's like. Also, for a woman of a certain age, I have really enjoyed discovering new things like trying. Well, I would say learning Spanish is a rediscovery of my passions because I've always been in some sort of second language study. I just have never gotten to the point of fluency. Like I took 3 years of French in high school and then 3 years of Spanish in college. Like I should be able to speak Spanish. Okay. Um but like you mentioned, Coach Sherry, it's not like when after I took it in college that I continued to practice. And with languages, yeah, if you don't use them, you lose them, unless, well, I wouldn't even say unless. You have a better chance of retaining it through your lifetime if you learned it as a child. But even then, if you're not practicing regularly, you're gonna forget some things. So yeah, I do download my StreamYard lives, but I've been downloading them for the purpose of, at the end of this 90-day live stream challenge, I've been putting together a little video of like, this is how the journey went. So I've had to download them so I can start to like split it up. Like one thing that this is, I I have a love-hate relationship with editing. Like, I love a good edit, okay? Whether it's my own or seeing someone else's. I probably really enjoy seeing someone else's because then I like to think about what went into that. Okay. And one of the things I really want to edit together, that this is going to be the bane of my existence for some time in trying to do this, but I'm gonna get her done. Okay. Once I finally decided on my intro, over the course of the 90 days, I have probably said, hey there, YouTube, Slasher Chicks and Slasher Dudes. This is Slasher Chick TV, where we like to talk about growth mindset and negotiation strategies. So you never have to choose between this or that. You can always say yes to this / that. Not a full 90 times, but at least 65, right? So I should be able to splice a bunch of different times I've said that together to do the intro of the video. Like I would like to open the video with like, yeah, I'm sharing what I've learned over the course of going live for 90 consecutive days. And it went a little something like this. And then I can splice together all those intros. So all of that to say, yes, I download my lives from StreamYard. Okay, so now that is awesome. So you see, you really could also be speaking Spanish on a regular basis. And if I were your daughters, I would be doing that too if I could. But that's what I mean when I say it's not like not only do I have a bunch of coworkers that I could be speaking Spanish with, former coworkers and colleagues, um, my nail salon. I'm trying to think of other places that I go frequently too, that like everybody there speaks Spanish, or a lot of people there speak Spanish besides work. Um, so I have no excuse, basically, is my point, to not practice. Except for fear. I guess that's it. I think it's just fear of, being a novice. But hey, you got to be a novice at something for some time to get good. You can never become an expert without first being a beginner, right? So that's a quotable. I'm sure somebody else has said that, but I feel like, I mean, that's the first time I've said those words exactly like that. But yeah, you can never become an expert without first being a beginner. So I'm gonna have to keep that for myself in mind. Okay, so I will tell you the tips that one thing that I have found really, really helpful, at least for my comprehension, then Candace, because I right now I'm much more comfortable reading and translating what I hear than I am speaking it. And that is mostly because of just feeling uncomfortable with like the extent of my vocabulary. And I'm still going to have a gringo type accent. I don't like that, but it's going to be what it is. But the thing I found most helpful is watching TV shows, and especially TV shows that I like really, really like and that I can watch multiple times. Um, Watching something like that in Spanish where I kind of know what they're talking about already. I can get the context and just like literally immersing myself, because I can't, unfortunately, I'm not in a position where I can just go live in a Spanish speaking country right now and force myself to only speak Spanish. So I have to try to figure out, well, what are some other immersion opportunities I can come up with? And that's been one, is consuming full shows. And so one way I'll do that is maybe I'll watch it the first time. If it's something I know really well already, I don't have to watch it again the first time in English. But I'll watch it the first time with the Spanish subtitles, and then I might watch it again with Spanish as the primary language, but English subtitles, and then I might watch it again with just Spanish. And one of the shows that I started doing that with, that I have watched this episode so many times, is um, in the last season of Black Mirror. There's an episode starring Salma Hayek called Joan es Horrible, and it's this about this Netflix show that ends up being about this woman, and it's a play on the fact that like our phones are always hear everything that we're saying. So like they make a TV show about this woman, and it's really, she ends up watching this show and it's like her real life, and she comes off as not a very nice person, but she is being played by Salma Hayek. Like, and Salma Hayek goes off of this like this rant to her agent about like getting her off the show, and it was like that rant that I was like, I have to know how you say this in Spanish. So anyway, that's one tip. I think watching TV shows that you like, or that you know really well in the language that you're interested in learning, is helpful. And the other thing that I think is helpful for me, because I have learned this about myself, is that, and I think this resonates for a lot of people, is anything I gamify, like anything I create a challenge around, makes me want to do it more. So I have found like Duolingo, and Drops. That's the other app that really make it like a game to practice your vocabulary and learn Spanish. And Duolingo also has things like storytelling in it, so you can like listen to bedtime stories and things like that. I found they really make it fun, in a way that it doesn't feel, it doesn't actually feel like you're learning. It just feels like you're playing, and you can kind of retain it a lot better because it uses as many of your senses as you can. Like it uses sound, and sight, and depending on how you have your phone set up, it may even vibrate for you. So, highly recommend like an app that lets you gamify the learning, and challenge yourself in ways like that. That would be my second tip besides the shows. And the last one, the most important one, and this is both for your daughter, Candace, and for myself, is to practice. Now, one thing, because I'm not comfortable, but I will practice more when I'm interacting with someone that I know I'm probably not going to see them again. Um, I feel more comfortable doing that. So, say for example, if I am in an Uber or a Lyft and they might be on the phone speaking Spanish, so I know they speak Spanish, so perhaps I might try to have a conversation with them after they got off the phone in Spanish. Um, those have been the places where I have attempted to practice, and I feel like that's at least a good entry point, is like attempt to practice with it, then at least people that you feel more confident, because you won't have to see them again. But the bottom line is practice, 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 because the more you practice, the more you're going to be able to like pull pull the words in the grammar when you need it. Because I mean, think about it. Even with us knowing English, and maybe you've spoken English all your life, but sometimes you're even struggling with like, what's the word I'm looking for, or what's the thing I'm trying to say. Um, so I am really looking forward to. I feel like my definition for when will feel fluent is when I'm no longer thinking in English and translating it to Spanish, but I can think in Spanish, if that makes sense. Um, but yeah, that's one of the things we're going to talk about is rediscovering your passions, and that's one of the things, yeah, that I rediscovered. Um, and I'm hoping, I have my skates. I'm hoping to rediscover my interest in that this summer. But I think, and we'll see what the conversation brings. But I think for women of a certain age, we might sometimes, yeah, be concerned about, well, like, what will people think if I try that thing, um, or maybe we're concerned about like, oh, if I do that thing that felt risky before, maybe I'll break bones now. And maybe you will. So maybe it's not quite that, right? But maybe it's something else, because maybe I'll use my skating for example. The skating for me is very much a nostalgic thing. Because I used to go skating every weekend as a kid, but also I want to be able to like skate smoothly like Usher. So it's the exercise, but the smoothness of it all. Now, if I'm that afraid of the breaking something, right, but I want to feel that exercise and the smoothness of it all, maybe I need to pick something that's not on wheels. Maybe I need to go to just like a dance class, but it'll still, that's the point, is like rediscovering the passions. So that's what we're going to talk about tomorrow on Thrive Thursday with Hey Dr. Ray, on my day 85 of 90 consecutive days of live streaming. I want to thank you all for being here today for day number 84 on this Win Wednesday. And if no one else has told you today, you're more than enough, and I love you.